So this infographic shows every oil and gas spill in the US from 2010 to 2022. And I want to just leave it up for a second so it can all just sink in. Pun intended.
Wait, so there were 4,901 oil and gas spills in just the US? And these are just the ones that were reported?
Yeah. Can you imagine how many, I'm sure there's tons of spills that happen. And it's like, hey, Frank, we should report that, huh? Nah, you know what? We'll clean it up before lunch. It should be fine.
And most of these spills were crude oil at 51% of the spills.
Yeah, and just a note about gasoline spills, and I know a bit about this because I've served on my local board of health for over 20 years. So when gasoline spills, it can get into groundwater, and it's nearly impossible to remediate. MTBE, which is methyl tert butyl ether, it's an additive that they've added to gasoline since the 80s. It was meant to boost octane. And then they found out how bad it was. And luckily, many states started banning it in the early 2000s when they found out how awful it really was, but not before we contaminated millions of people's groundwater. But I digress. This chart was interesting. Most of the spills were in Texas.
Wow, almost 2,000 oil and gas spills in Texas.
And what a weird world we live in, because Texas is #1 in oil spills and #1 in wind energy. Make up your mind, Texas.
It's a big state. That's why, let's be real. But still, that's I wouldn't want that much oil and gas spilling in my state.
Well, and here's the thing. When there's a spill, if it doesn't directly affect you, you're like, I don't care. But with this many spills, there's so many that are probably bound to affect you, and you may not know it because you don't know where your water comes from. If it comes from an aquifer, that spill could be miles away from your aquifer, and it's still probably affecting your aquifer.
Or it could take years to affect you because groundwater takes kind of a long time to get places sometimes. Yes. And so, if you're drawing from a well, it can start to draw pollutants towards it.
Exactly.
And that could, if you have a big draw, that could just be polluting people along the way who have smaller draws.
And the reason I think we need to talk about this is that there's a real narrative right now that climate change is just a story created by people who want to make your life suck.
One of their big arguments is that look at all these people that have been trying to scare you for decades and nothing's happened.
Or the oldie but goodie, even if the earth is warming up, it's not caused by us humans, so let's keep doing what we've been doing.
But I think that everyone, no matter where they stand on climate change, can agree that oil spills are bad.
Now, for a couple hundred years, we haven't had an alternative to fossil fuels. There were no solar panels in the 1800s. But now we have them.
So the next time someone starts spouting off their climate change is a hoax spiel, stop them short and send them this clip and say, maybe you're right, but do you like oil spills?
Because when there's a huge solar energy spill, it's just called a nice day. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching Now You Know Clips.
You can watch full episodes of Tesla Time News on Tuesdays and in-depths on Fridays. Just click the link down below and head over to the Now You Know channel.